Hey, Amber, what's up?
I'm here, and I'm really excited to talk to you.
I'm here and I'm excited to talk to you. Fantastic. What's happening?
Okay. Well, I'm suddenly nervous, so I'll just kind of get started. Um, let's see. So the question I wrote in with was, can a surgeon successfully balance work and family, or are my kids screwed?
Either this or that, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So, are you a surgeon? What kind of surgeon are you?
My husband is a surgeon.
Okay.
So background, we've been together 16 years and been married for 12. We have 3 kids, a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So yeah, it's just kind of, we've gone through all the stuff, the medical training, the residency, the fellowship, the landing, the job near family and everything. And so it's just kind of, I feel like we should be good. And I guess we're not. So I guess the caveat to the question would be advice on kind of enduring the grind a little bit.
Hold on. I want to sit here in this discomfort. You were ride or die through med school. Were you all together in undergrad too?
Yeah.
Yeah. You did a biology degree. You dated somebody getting a degree in chemistry or biology. You dated a guy that went to med school. Okay. You went through residency. I bet you're pretty tired of being a single mom.
Yep.
And there was supposed to be this big payoff. I was going to be married to a surgeon, and I have a picture of all these surgeons' wives and kids and lives. And the day-to-day is I'm a single mom, and my husband works 25 hours a week, 25 hours a day.
Yep. I mean, a short day is 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then he's usually coming home and planning cases on top of that.
Yeah. So let's move your kids to the side for a second. How's your marriage?
I would say good, because we're both committed to making it work.
That's the most ridiculous answer I ever heard. That's like saying, hey, how's traffic? And you're like, good, I'm committed to keeping the gas pedal on the floor. Just crashing into everybody. Good job. How's your marriage?
I mean, we're actively working on it.
Okay. Say out loud, it's not good. Or say out loud, it's not what I had pictured. A cornerstone of getting well and healing things, whether the relationships, whether your emotional health, is you choosing reality, being honest about where we are. And you have been such a cheerleader for so long, and you have buried how you feel about things for so freaking long, that it's hard to say, I put in all this time and all this effort, and I sacrificed 15 years of my life, and I didn't expect this. Right?
Yep.
Why can't you say that out loud? Why does that scare you to say it?
I guess it's just the chronic optimist in me.
I think you feel embarrassed that you have everything and you don't have anything. Tell me, I might be way off on that.
No, that's a good part of it.
You have a nice house, and you got healthy kids.
He would feel like that.
Well, I mean, you got everything, right? You're the envy of everybody. You're the envy of you 15 years ago. And I just miss my husband, and I just want my kids to have their dad around. Or I want to be at least as important, if not more important, than some stranger.
Yep. I mean, the nature of the beast is that work gets the best, and then it comes like kids, and then me, and then honestly, maybe even just him. His own mental health is getting the scraps.
That's exactly right. That's why I started my whole entry into mental health stuff, was looking at the mental health of attorneys and then medical professionals.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, this is not about you and your husband, but it's until the medical profession realizes that their staff has to be well before they can anchor in and go help other people.
Yeah.
we'll continue getting the mess that we've got. So your
I mean,
original
we've really-
question, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I mean, we've tried to be proactive. He has, and choosing where to work. I mean, even through everything, we just did with less and tried to do, we didn't rely on moonlighting. We didn't do anything, again, I mean, he has Q8 call. That's probably about the friendliest call you can get as a surgeon.
Sure. Is
I
he
mean,
happy?
He's not, and that's what's hard, because it's like he climbed up Everest and doesn't like the view.
Okay.
Or something.
That's okay.
And he's got the added challenges. His ACE score is a 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just want him to be happy.
Okay. And one of the most powerless feelings for anybody who's married to somebody, ride or die, is that he has to want that for himself.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, is it possible for a specialty surgeon, for a special kind of surgeon to be successful at home? Yeah, absolutely. It looks different. But yeah, it absolutely is.
Well, then what are some strategies to help with that transition?
Well, hold on, we're not there yet.
Okay.
Also, it's okay to say, I really want to be a surgeon and get there. I really want to be an accountant. I really want to be a stay-at-home mom. I really want to be a working mom. And to declare that to the world and go through 5 years and 10 years of training and get there and go, whoa, this is not for me. And it's scary, and it's frustrating, and it's annoying, and it's heartbreaking, and all those things. And it's still true, because you only get one life. And as a specialty surgeon, he's been through so much rigorous training that he'd have to swallow his ego. He'd have to deal with all of the backpedaling. And I don't know what it takes to go from surgeon to internist, or family practice, family medicine, like just a general practitioner. I don't know the path there. I know the salary's way different. I know the life is way different. But here's what I'm saying. There's a difference when somebody says, I was put on this earth to be a surgeon, and I've been around those people, and they are laser beams. And people who marry them, they know what they're getting into. It comes at a cost. And it's a tough sled. And I also know countless people in the legal profession, the medical profession, who got all the way to where they wanted to be and realized they didn't want to be here. And I needed you to hear me say, that's okay, but he has to choose that, not you. You can't nag him into that. You can't complain him into that. You can't love him into that. He has to decide, oh, this isn't for me. And then grieve it, because we wanted that, and it's not. But if he was spending all this year and all this money and all this training and all this time thinking that happiness was going to lie once he got there, ooh, that's tough.
Yeah.
And so here, to answer your questions in a hard way, in a direct way, y'all have to reverse engineer your marriage. What does that mean? Y'all have to come to the table and say, what do we want this home to feel like when you walk in the door? And he gets to say what he wants it to feel like, and you get to say what you want it to feel like. And he might say, I want it to feel warm and full of laughter, and I want there to be music playing. Cool. Here's what has to be true for that to happen. I need you home. Or when you're home, I can't have you walking in the door with 7 other cases you got to deal with. I need you to be honest about you don't want to be a surgeon. And I will still love you, and I'll still be right or die. We may have to do it for 2 years because we got a whole bunch of student loans to pay off.
Yeah.
And we'll drive junky cars and live in an apartment if that's what we got to do, but we'll get a path out of this. Are you mad that he doesn't like it? Are you disappointed at him? Are you angry at him? Like I feel like you've got some. You're close to resenting him right now, and I can't figure out where it's coming from.
I think it's just I fight resentment, and we started marriage counseling in January because he was kind of resenting me, and I was starting to resent him, and I just wanted to nip all that in the bud.
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, I do, I am the financially stable single mother, essentially.
Right.
And, I've come to terms with the fact that, okay, he's not going to help much around the house. Okay, fine, hire some help, or if I need some help with the kids, then we hire something, or send a kid to daycare for part-time or something. And I'm good with that. I think really what's frustrating is just this is what you've been working toward and we've been working toward, and I just want to enjoy the accomplishment, I guess.
What does that mean?
I guess, we just are having these successes, and even when we were doing we've been paying on student loans and we've been cleaning up debts and things, and I have this optimistic view and he has a pessimistic view. So I'd be like, oh, wow, look at this. We paid off this car, or we paid off this thing. And instead of he's never been able to really celebrate the wins. It's always like, oh, but we still have so much to go. And then now I feel like, okay, well, we've paid off my student loans. We have the house and his student loans left, and we're working on that kind of thing. And so then it's just, I feel like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I want to enjoy that with him. But, I mean, half the time he says things like, well, this is going to sound crazy, but he says that, work is no longer challenging. And I'm like, you are in the specialty part of surgery that is just, and then within that specialty, he has set himself apart from even the specialty.
Right. That means that's not an uncommon thing to hear. That means he's real good. And I hear this all the time. I don't know if it's true, but I hear once you kind of figure out how an organ works and how it connects and disconnects, like I hear that, I've heard that multiple times. It's easy. And I'm like, to take out a kidney? And they're like, yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what that means. I also walked into our parking lot a few years ago, and there was somebody in a car having a panic attack, and there were 7 people leaning into the car trying to help, and the person was hyperventilating. And I pulled up next to him and said, hey, will you come with me for a second? And will you hold my hand? And we, transitioning out of that panic attack took 30 seconds. That was the simplest thing that went into my job. And you would have thought I was at Hogwarts. People were like, you sorcerer, right? So whatever you're good, and you, with your 3 kids, you could probably get those 3 kids into wherever they need to go and out of wherever they need to go.
I mean, they're kind of feral, but yeah.
Well, I'm saying, you know how to, it's like magic for me. Like watching it. It's like, how did you do that, right? So that part's okay. I think the surgery part and the busy part and all that is adding a lot of window dressing to you love a man who is choosing pessimism over optimism. He's choosing glass half empty over glass half full. He's probably dealing with significant amount of secondary traumatic stress. And that is people who work in the pain of other people, whether they think they're above it or not, aren't.
Gotcha.
The way I describe it is we all have a backpack, and if you break your leg or you get in a car wreck, someone puts a brick in your backpack. But if you're the surgeon sewing up the little kid who got hit, that's not a brick in your backpack, but it's a little rock. And over time, all those people's little rocks, room to room to room to room, all those little rocks add up. And so it's especially important for somebody in a helping profession who people only go to. They only go to you when they're having the worst time of their life. Nobody goes to an attorney because they're having a great day. Nobody goes to a trauma surgeon because they're having a great day, right?
Yeah.
And so when that's you, you have to extra do the work to do the things to keep you well and whole. And that starts with relationships. That starts with healing from traumas. That starts with seeing somebody. That starts with an exercise and nutrition. It starts with being present with your family. That's where whole begins so that you can rappel in and do the hard work of being a good, connected, present trauma surgeon. And if he has an ACEs score of 4 and he's been running his whole life, I'll show you. It's not about trauma. It's not about surgery. It's not about top of the mountain. It's that he had told himself a story that when I get here, wherever here is, 6 figures, $5 million, surgeon, get to Harvard, get married, when I get here, then everything will be okay. And you get there and you realize the finish line just moves, and it just moves. And you're looking, we're here, we're on top of the mountain. Look at this house. We just paid off all these loans. And he's like, yeah, that line just moved. Whew. So I think the conversation begins in therapy and counseling, marriage counseling is, I want you to write him a letter. And I want you to write him a love letter that says, I love you. And I miss you. And I want you to find peace more than I want your money, more than I want you to be the best surgeon. I want you to have peace. And I'll walk with you as you find peace. And if that means you have to go be a gen prac, fine. If that means you go be a nurse practitioner, fine. But I want peace in your heart. I want peace in our marriage. I want peace with these kids. I'm tired of being a single mom. I want my husband and they want their dad. Is that easier said than done? God, yes. Is unwinding all of the ego and training and professional credibility and all that from a top tier surgeon back? Yes, I get all that. You only get one life. You only get one. What are you going to do with it? You got to the top of the mountain. That's amazing. That means you can get to any mountain you want to. I want y'all to pick up I think it's David Brooks' book, Second Mountain. We'll link to it in the show notes. I think that's it. Yeah, David Brooks' Second Mountain. Pick that up. It's a masterpiece. But I think it'll be instructive for you too. Hang on the line. I'm going to send you Building a Non-Anxious Life. That's for you and your... I'll send you Own Your Past, Change Your Future too. I want y'all both to read those 2 books together. It's got enough winks at the smart kids, and it's also accessible enough for a high school kid to read it. I want y'all to read those 2 books together and see if it doesn't spark something in your husband. I'm grateful for you.